Peace, family. What's up? It's your brother, Mr. Holipsism, doing another one of my impromptu broadcast. Well, not exactly impromptu. I scheduled this before I took a little nap, give myself a chance to rest. But the topic that I want to talk about today is principles versus dick riding. Most people are not interested in adhering to a principle. Most people are looking for a dick they can jump on and ride like a Bronco Buster or bull rider into the sunset. This is why most members of the vague abstraction, commonly known as the so-called conscious community, would opt not to embrace land, infrastructure, nationhood, and the tangible and the concrete. Instead, they would opt for the cult of personality and charismatic leadership, endorsing the vague and the abstract, and guiding them with doublespeak and hyperbole, resulting in nothingness. Now, that's pretty self-explanatory. Peace, what's up, Mr. Cat? And what's up, Anti-Gravity 74? What made me think about this is just, and you show, it's so funny, like most of my shows are kind of tied to the previous show. So as I was talking about, the whole concept of requiring a PowerPoint presentation, like a slave needs a PowerPoint presentation so they can be convinced that freedom is something that they should have as a solution to their slavery problem. And I started thinking about, why is that dynamic even existing? Especially like when it comes to the BAIO and the way that we approach reaching out to Black people of like mind and trying to get them to socialize and network with each other and building up each individual state and stuff like that. It's like this is not really a usual way of doing things in the conscious community. I think now we know the reasons why we do it, because I personally feel that unless you can do something that appeals to the grassroots, appeals to the basic interest and needs of the masses, you're not going to really get a whole lot of energy. And that could be both good and bad for whatever it is that the person is trying to do. I think the part of the problem is because of the way that the conscious community is sort of like set the table for this so-called information, that people go and they listen to these various talking heads and they try to get information from an app. And keep in mind, when I say information, I'm using the quotes because a lot of it is not really information. A lot of it is just simply mental and verbal masturbation and recycling shit that really has no practical purpose. It's like Jelani, rest in peace, used to say, what's the phrase he used to use? The impractical and ineffective. The impractically ineffective or something like that. He used to say that all the time. And it's just information for the sake of information. And it's not really information to practically use to help you in any, even as it on an individual level, it doesn't really help you. So what I notice is, and if you look at the people that are at the forefront of this so-called conscious community, quote, information, culture conscious talk on YouTube, and the listening audience has been kind of trained to dick ride. And what do I mean by that? What you usually find is, you know what? This is the perfect, I didn't think of it until just now. This is the perfect way for me to describe this. When I'm attacked, Well, no, actually, let me go second with that. When they are attacked, like if let's say Yvette Carno is attacked, or Tariq Nasheed is attacked, or Umar Johnson is attacked, or any individual, single individual is attacked, their dick riders will jump up and defend them personally. When I'm attacked, the people that listen to me don't defend me personally. They defend land, infrastructure, nationhood, and what I'm talking about. See the difference? Because these people are, soldiers for these individual people in their brand. It's not about me. It's not about Holip. Like, I never push that I'm some king or leader of anything. I'm basically talking about principles 99% of the time. And my principles are the same principles as the BAIO, which is land, infrastructure, nationhood, independent nation state on the continent of our ancestors, the end game for Black people here in America, and the Black agenda. I'm pretty consistent with that. So if anybody attacks me, most of the time when I see by the people who listen to me, they're going back and forth with this person on principles. Like, what do you mean? Da 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 da. This is, how are you going to build something here? Da, 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 da. Like they attack the issues and they don't really have to defend me personally. You see what I'm saying? And I like that because that means that we're following principles. We're not following individuals. I don't want nobody following me. Fuck me. Like, what? Like my cousin's screen name says, my name is irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the big picture of what we're talking about. We're talking about nationhood. Now, how do you know that you're a dick rider? You know that you're a dick rider when how someone says something is more important to you than what they're actually saying. Vector 313, peace, bro. This is how you know that you're a dick rider. So people that listen to certain people probably like those people because of they like that person's personality, or they like the passion that the person speaks with. Because a lot of times, and brothers, well, only brothers in the chat room right now, I think, right? Are we all brothers in here? Not that I'm speaking behind the sister's back, but I just want to make a point that brothers can probably relate to. Peace, Ronan. Please, Isaac. You ever had a girl who who really was into you in terms of your passion? She may not, like, take for instance, you might be very passionate about nationhood or passionate about social cultural issues. So you speak on it and you're passionate about it and whatever. She may not even believe in anything that's coming out of your mouth, but she's attracted to your passion about it. Yeah, they'll hear it on the replay. But do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, have you had that before? Like a woman will be attracted to you simply because of your passion, or she might be attracted to you simply because of your confidence, but not necessarily because of what she believes in anything that you're saying. That's sort of what goes on in the so-called conscious community, you know? And one of the things I like about the people that listen to me, y'all will not hesitate to call me on something if you think I'm bullshitting. Like, if I say something that's off the reservation, I get comments and they're like, "Yo, holla, what the fuck?" Da, 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 da. And I like that personally. That's me. I like that because I think that that's the checks and balances that we need in our movement. Because it's not about me. It's not about you getting infatuated with my shit or whatever. It's about you looking at the principles of what's involved. Does this make sense? Does it not make sense? And if somebody falls outside the lines of that, then you call them on it. It's not about them. It's about the principles. Popularity is credibility when you're a dick rider. Yep. Peace, Kudash, P Media. I think I'm saying it right. I was in the chat room on the Information Man show last night, and all they kept talking about was issues, not solutions. And when I asked, they avoided. Of course, well, oh, you must have asked the question that I asked you to ask them. What is the black agenda, or what is the end game? Is that the question you asked? Because I'm telling you, if y'all can hear me drinking this, I'm sorry. I'm drinking this. I'm telling you, man, that is a nuclear weapon. That's a WMD whenever you are in these discussions when black folks is talking about social, economic, and political issues. I'm just talking about that quote unquote black shit. That is going to be a nuclear bomb because it stops the, yeah, exactly. It stops the verbal and mental masturbation, and it forces people to come to a conclusion. And see, people right now, we're living in an environment where the conscious community gets off on the struggle. So if you come to a solution to the struggle, then it's sort of like throwing a wet blanket over the party. Like when you coming in and saying, "What's the end game? What's the agenda?" It's like, "Yo, son, calm down, man. We can't you see we stroking off over here? Why are you trying to stop me from busting off?" Bad analogy, but anyway, you know what I mean. Oh, let me do this. I want to give a plug first of all to the BAIO. And you know what? I didn't even, because I usually put like the links and stuff at the beginning, but I was freaking tired this morning, man. So I set this up and went to sleep. But I want to give a plug to the BAIO. I know everybody in the chat room is probably already in the BAIO, but this is for the people on the archive when they listen to it. Click on that, join, go to your local chapter, get to know people in your area that's down for nationhood like you are. It's already happening. Things are coming together and people are meeting up. They're doing Google Hangouts. They're planning Google Hangouts and planning physical meetups. And it's good to know that you're just not out there like some solo soldier. There are people that feel and think the same way you do about this nationhood thing. So click on that, join the BAIO network. Boom. Another thing I want you all to do is join. Well, first of all, my peoples in the paint are having a show tonight, actually. And I want to put the link in there to the show. That's the link to tonight's show. And if you go to that link, you'll see ITP for Life. That's their channel. Make sure you subscribe to them. Make sure you click on the little bell so you can be notified. The reason why I say that is I'm really like a casual when it comes to sports right now. I'm not into sports like I used to be. That's a long story. I've said it and told it before on their channel. But I tune into the show to support them because they get into socioeconomic and political issues on the sports talk show. So it's not just talking about football, basketball like you normally hear everybody else talk about. They talk about it from a socioeconomic and political perspective as well. And they also have overtime, well, actually, that's BTR overtime chats where they get into things that have nothing to do with sports. So it's a really good channel, really good people. That's Max 611 and Big Brother R. Please show them your support and pass that around. If you got anybody that's into sports and just likes sports, period, have them tune into that because they cover everything. Everything. They get deep into sports and they get deep into politics. So is there anything else I got to plug? My channel? Yeah. Should I plug my channel? Let me see. Let me put the link to my channel in there. Oh, that sucks. What is that? Hold on. Hold on, people. Hold on. Peace, Bell. Peace, Regina. Oh, I got my enforcers here. Y'all gonna have a good. You see, it's nice being an enforcer in my forum. You could just kick your feet up and relax because there's nothing really gonna happen. They're not gonna come in here. Trust me. The word is already out. They know that I got my executioners, my enforcers in the chat room. They know, and they know me. So they're not going to show up in my forum. And if they do, they won't be around for too long. Hold on. I'm trying to put my channel link in there because it's giving me some weird looking link. Da, 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 da. Oh man, I'm so not used to doing this. Here we go. Boom. That's my channel. You probably already subscribed because if you weren't, you wouldn't be here. So if you know anyone that's interested in nationhood or interested in hearing me talk about nationhood, click on that link. And I think that's it. I promoted the BAIO. I promoted in the Paint, Sports Talk, the show tonight, and I promoted my own site. So I'm good. All right, now I got that out of the way. Hit the like button, as the Dynas would say. Hit the like button. But to get back to what I was talking about, people within the so-called cultural conscious community are more interested in these personalities than they are in principles. And as Kudash P Media just showed you, whenever you start bringing in the question of the Black agenda and nationhood and all this other stuff into a forum, you're going to get to see people's true colors. And what you're going to discover is that a lot of people are just into talking, pontificating, and engaging in, like I said, doublespeak, hyperbole, resulting in nothingness. Because that's big now, you know? Like I'm gonna tell you honestly, when y'all see me do these shows or like just stuff like this, it's because I really have something to say or a thought or something that I want to express. And what made me do this show is I was just thinking about that concept, which was kind of tied to the show that we did the other time, the last show that I did. Why is it that you need a PowerPoint presentation for a solution to a problem? The person that's experiencing all of the negative effects of that problem is requiring you to convince them of the solution to the problem. And so it just made me, like, after the show, I was listening to the show and I was just thinking, and it made me think about this, is that people really don't abide by principles. Or I should say a very few of them. Like the people in this chat room, the people that basically, I would say everybody in the BAIO, they're in there because they believe in nationhood. Because there is really nobody to follow in the BAIO. Nobody really has anything, like I don't have any Patreon. I don't have any, like I say, I don't have no super chats on here. I don't have any donate buttons for me personally. What else? What's another source of fun? Well, I guess my channel's demonetized, so I don't make any money off my YouTube, no matter how many views I get or how many subscribers I have. So you ain't following me. Following me where? you know? So Kala's not really on YouTube like that. Like he mainly is a guest on other people's formats, but he doesn't really pump out content on YouTube like that. He's mainly in the BAIO Ning site. Minister Dawood, the same thing. Like him and me will do a show when we feel like doing it. Yeah, like Bell just said, tangible solutions and getting the hell out of here is exactly why I joined the BAIO. Right, it's principle oriented why you joined, Bell. And Ronan says the conscious community leaders are charismatic and their followers don't engage in critical thinking on a regular and they develop a cult-like following. Exactly. It's called dick riding. That's the street layman's term. That's why I put the graphic of the guy riding the Bronco, because that's exactly what they be doing. They be riding for these dudes, man. Riding for them. This dude, and when you critique them, you'll know. It's like, because I don't attack. I want somebody. Do I attack these guys? Because I don't think that I do. I don't attack any of them personally because I don't know them. I mean, if y'all tell me, because I want to know, because maybe I'm not being objective about it. I don't think that I attack anybody, but I will definitely attack their philosophy, or I'll attack a principle of theirs, or something that I feel is not in line with nationhood. But I don't attack them personally. I've never attacked Tariq Nasheed. I've never attacked Umar Johnson. I've never attacked Polite, whoever that is. Stay on code. Stay on code. That is beautiful. Greetings, peace. I was laughing to stay on code because we was talking about that the other day. I don't know if you caught that show. I always say 999,000. It's actually 999 million, right? Or is it billion? Wait, 100,000, billion, million, billion. I think it's billion. Tell me, I'm not a math expert. Billion, okay. 999 billion. Peace. I would prefer that you contact them and have discussions with them. I'm down for that. I really am. I really am down for that. In terms of me contacting them, let them contact me or let them contact the BAIO. It's like I'm not chasing these dudes, really. To be honest with you, if I speak to them, cool. If I don't, cool. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is not about individuals. And I just have my own doubts as to whether any of these talking heads will embrace a concept and embrace a principle and just promote that principle. I just don't believe it because just based on their history and based on their personalities, I just don't see it happening. Now I could be wrong, but have any of you guys ever who listen to these guys, have you ever offered the suggestion of nationhood to them, or have you ever gave them the BAIO? Because I would give them the BAIO about section and see what they have to say about it. Because what I would imagine is going to happen if you send the about section to any of these black talking heads, the first thing they're going to do is dissect it and tell you how it doesn't make any sense. Peace, AA Sharp. That's my guess is that that's what's going to happen. They're going to dissect it and tell you how nationhood doesn't make any sense and how we should do it right here first. That's what I'm going to take that as a guess. But they're not gonna agree with nationhood, because if they agree with nationhood, it's sort of like them abandoning their brand by doing that. Because what are you gonna do? Like if you're a black talking head, like let's just say one of them decides to join the BAIO. Really, all they're gonna be is just a member of the BAIO in whatever their state is. They're gonna be on equal footing with everybody else in their state. They don't want that. They don't want that. They're the king, you're the subject. Lisandro Cruz? What country are you going to build in? I don't know. What country do you want to build in? I mean, our initial end game is a nation state on the continent. Now, what country that's going to be? It depends on who's offering the best. What works out best for us? I mean, I have some that I have in mind, but there's a lot of different factors. And that's going to become um, that's something that we have to dig in as a collective. Like, what will benefit us collectively? Me, all right, let's get into that for a little bit. One of the things that I think would benefit us, and just in terms of strategic and logistical positioning, I think we need to get something that's near the coastline. That's just me personally, because I'm interested in trade. I'm interested in seaports and I'm interested in airports. And airports and seaports are usually near the coast. So I'm looking at those countries in Africa. Now, if I had to say what my particular, right, exactly, Vector. If I had to say what my particular country is, I've narrowed it down to two. For me personally, keep in mind, I do not speak for the BAIO. I'm speaking as Holip, Angola and Namibia. Angola and Namibia. That's me. And actually, that's where I intend to go. Like, if after I go to South Africa, of course. I know Dynas is he doesn't really want me to go to South Africa, but I have too many friends in South Africa, and for me to go to Africa and not go there would be like, slapping them in the face. They're gonna be like, "What? You came to Africa? You didn't come?" Like, so to avoid all of that, I'm going to South Africa. Just to, but South Africa is not one of the places I'm looking at. It's just my friends are there, and I've always wanted to go, so I'm gonna go. But Namibia and Angola is the two that me personally, I think we should be looking into and probably talking to and dealing with. I hope that answers the question. Where was I going? I was getting ready to say something and then that took me. What was I talking about? I totally lost my train of thought. No, not your fault. I just concentrated on that question. Um, oh, I remember. I remember. I don't believe that these guys have the ability to be just like me and you. You know, I'm gonna get to what you're saying, 999 billion after this. I just don't think that they do. I think that they want to be worshipped. They want to be the next Malcolm X. They want to be the next John Henry Clark. They want to be the next Farrakhan. They want people to applaud them and all of this other stuff, things that I have absolutely no interest in. The only thing that I think is important to us right now is getting some power, some socioeconomic and political power, turning the vague and abstract we, us, and our to an actual tangible and concrete we. And if anybody's been listening to me long enough, you already know what I have to say about the we, us, and our. On a social, economic, and political level, there is no we, there is no us, there is no our. What the BAIO is trying to do and what nationalists and progressives are trying to do is create the we, create the our, create the out, the us. But you guys have heard this before, so you already know that. But that's the thing. It's like there is no tangible and concrete. So when you start talking about issues and you start saying, well, what we need to do and I have to point this out, and y'all should do the same thing. What we are you talking about? There is no we. Black people are not a we. We're not a us. We're not a our. We are a scattered group of individualists. And the only thing that aligns us is that the system sees us all as looking the same. That's the only thing that aligns us in this current context. We don't have any government. We don't have any structure. We don't have no base of operations. We just black. It's like you're black and you're associated with other black people. That's it. Because if you were anything other than that, you would have political power. You would have a voting block. You would have something. And this is what people need to understand. So when we start talking about us and our and we and what we need to do, I always point out whenever I'm speaking to somebody, when they start talking about what we need to do, I say, what we are you referring to? Because the we doesn't exist. Now, if we had a nation, then we'd have something that we can that's tangible and concrete that we can point to that has policies. And if our nation doesn't have a certain policy that benefits us, guess what? We create one. We introduce a bill to our government, go through our processes, and we pass the bill so that we can have that policy. Yeah, only Q-P Media, exactly. Someone said a quote, there is no black community because there's nothing that binds us together, only social media. Exactly. Like I said, I want you to pull out your phone because most phones have a GPS, or if you're in your car, I want you to type in conscious community and tell me where the GPS leads you. There is no conscious community. It's a vague abstraction. So, and this gets to the code. And I'm glad, is the brother or sister, and I don't know if it's brother or sister, still in the group or in the chat room? What was it? Stay on code. Are you still there? Are you listening? Because if stay on code is still in the group, I just want to ask them, what is the code that we need to stay on? And I'm being serious. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being serious because I've asked it yesterday. Was it yesterday? Or the other day, the last broadcast. I'm losing track of shit. What's the code that we need to stay on? And who's we? Ah! Anti-Gravity says, I typed the conscious community. The GPS leads me to a WWE fight. Wow. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic? Mao said power. Isaac K says Mao said power comes from the barrel of a gun. And Holipsism said it best, a law is simply an opinion backed by a gun. Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. I think he must not be in the group or he must not be in the chat anymore. Stay on code. Well, if stay on code comes back, I want to ask him that question. What is the code? And when anybody starts talking about we, us, and our, ask them who's we, who's us, and who's our. If anybody starts talking about a community, then there should be some coordinates to that community. I should be able to find that community in my GPS if it exists. But like I said, vague and abstract versus tangible and concrete. Tangible and concrete are principles. Vague and abstract leads to dick riding. And I'll get back to the description of the show. Title of the show is Principles versus Dick Riding. Most people are not interested in adhering to a principle. Most people are looking for a dick they can jump on and ride like a Bronco Buster or bull rider into the sunset. This is why most members of the vague abstraction, commonly known as the so-called conscious community, would opt not to embrace land, infrastructure, nationhood, and the tangible and the concrete. Instead, they would opt for a cult of personality and charismatic leadership, endorsing the vague and abstract and guiding them with doublespeak and hyperbole, resulting in nothingness. And I think there's a pretty good case that I'm right, because what do we have here in America? Amos Wilson said something in a lecture. That lecture that you guys see online that I was at, the Blueprint for Black Power lecture, that lecture changed my life, man. And I'm not overstating it. I'm not exaggerating. That lecture, if I didn't listen to Amos Wilson, there would be no Mr. Holipsism. Because that lecture and that part that I play, when you watch my videos, and I play that part from his lecture where it says, why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do benefits the European? Nobody ever put it like that. That struck a chord and a nerve that I've been going forward with that ever since. Everything made sense. He was. He was brilliant. And I'm so happy that I got to meet him and shake his hand. And I actually went to his funeral in the Bronx. But that changed my life. Because if you have to be if you're the most clueless Negro, if that doesn't spark something in you by just hearing him say, that's why I posted on all my videos. Because I want somebody to listen to that and hear that and go and have the same effect on them that it had on me. Why is you're sitting here thinking that you're free But everything that you do benefits somebody else, and it doesn't benefit you, and it doesn't benefit your people. Something got to make you think about that. And he was the only person to me that really broke down nationhood in a way that I could understand it. Somebody's calling me again during my broadcast. Hold on a second, people. This is my cousin. Call from Larry's cell. I know if I want to get my cousin to call, all I gotta do is start a YouTube live broadcast. That's all I gotta do. I'll be here. This phone has not rung all day until I start this broadcast, and now it's ringing. Yeah, Amos Wilson. Let's get back to what he was saying. Amos Wilson. Oh, that's why the reason why I mentioned Amos Wilson, because I wanted to mention something else that he said that affected me. Amos Wilson said this, and I never really thought about this either. Yes, he did. Amos Wilson said, he asked the question at the lecture. He said, what were Black people brought to America for? And everybody, nobody really answered. They was like waiting for him. And then he said, they were brought here for labor, right? What's Black people's major source of income coming from now? Labor. This $1 trillion spending that we talk about, it doesn't come from manufacturing or producing. It mainly comes from the money that we make by working for white people. So how has our relationship with the white man changed since we've been brought into this country? Another thing that blew my mind, because I didn't think about it that way. Because everybody wants you to believe that there's been progress. Oh, well, we were slaves. Now we're not slaves no more. And we can do this and we free. Your fundamental relationship to these people has not changed. All the change is the mechanism and how that relationship operates. Now, instead of you being working for them under the whip, you're working for them basically for next to nothing. You know what I'm saying? You went from working for free labor to next to nothing labor. Because if you think that little piece of crap that they give you is power, or that makes you free, then maybe that's a part of the problem. And like I said, why is it that somebody like me is talking about this? This dynamic, I'm gonna tell y'all people, this dynamic that I'm about to describe to y'all has been the one that has me scratching my head more than anybody. This dynamic that I'm about to tell you right now. When we came to the conclusion that nationhood, land infrastructure and nationhood were going to be the talking points, and that this was the solution to our problem, the people that I thought would rally behind this and be like, wow, yeah, this is the truth. Yeah, we got to do this. The people that's under the socioeconomic and political boot of oppression in America are the ones who fight us the most on nationhood. Minister DeWoo can tell you, Kala can tell you, anybody that's in the BAIO can tell you that the people that fight the most against nationhood is the people that's on the lower economic rung of this society. The people that's fighting for nationhood are usually upper to middle class. Something that I never thought. I was like, what? Wait a minute. You're doing well. You're living a middle class to upper middle class lifestyle in America. Why are you for nationhood? Shouldn't you be happy? Everything has been thrown is like on its head of what I used to think how things worked. I thought that the people that were under the oppressive boot of this system would be the ones who would really be rallying for nationhood. But the majority of them are in love with America. And I don't blame them, like the masses. I blame their intelligentsia. I blame their leadership. I blame the people that they're listening to. Because if you listen to them, all they're doing is just being a tape recorder for every black talking head that they've heard. They're not even thinking on their own. They've been taught to work and think against their own interests. Sound familiar? Yeah, at Anti-Gravity 74 says, I firmly believe that a lot of black people are risk averse and have a low risk tolerance is part of the poverty mindset. Yeah. But I'm to be honest with you, I think that if I had to put my finger on the cause of the mentality of our people right now, is the leadership and the people. Listen, in order for you to think a certain way or be a certain way, you got to have some reference to draw from for the most part. For the most part, I'm not going to say all the time, but for the most part, you need a reference to draw from. Like if you, as a man, didn't see a man and didn't know how a man operated, how are you going to know about manhood? There had to be some example or some reference that you drew from to say, now that's a man. I want to be like that. I know for me, it was my brother. Me, it was my father, where you can say this is an example, or not even people that was blood related to me, like Malcolm and Amos and people who Marcus Garvey, people that had principles and stuff that I really respected and whose minds I respected and whose character I respected. But if you don't have that, then what do you really have to draw on? Like, is there any wonder why our kids are walking around looking like circus clowns? I mean, so then what are we going to do? We're going to blame them? I mean, you had a good, like if a kid is 17 or 16, something like that, let's say 15, 16, you had a good 15 years of them being totally dependent upon you for guidance. So they went for 15 years, and then after that 15 years, the 16-year was over. Under your watch, they wearing their pants down by their ankles, and then you mad at them? You're mad at them. They're the problem. Come on, man. This is why I don't give a shit about any of that superficial shit. I talk to kids with pants at their ankles all the damn time. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you're listening to me. I can actually have a conversation with them and I can actually pique their interest because I'm not judging them. We ain't in no fucking position to be judging them. They should be judging us more harshly than they are. And a lot of them have judged us very harshly because you can tell by their behavior. They may not express it verbally, but they're acting it out. Our children are acting out their disrespect that they have for us, because why should they have respect for us collectively if we haven't done anything to create a future for them? Why? Because you old? So then we should respect the super senior. If being old is a reason to be respected, then let's start respecting the people that's been in high school forever. Because they old, right? Like I said, a lot of people are super seniors at life. And why should we respect people that ain't trying to build a future or actively fighting against us building a future? Because right now, the BAIO is just requesting you to join if you believe in nationhood or get the fuck out of the way. Anti-Gravity 74. I can't say that I would blame you. I can't speak. One of the things that I do, and I notice that a lot of people don't do this, everybody wants to blame another generation for the problems that exist in the world today. I never blame any generation except my own, because that's the only one I can speak for. I think I can't speak for my mom's generation. I can't even speak for my brother's generation. I speak for mine, and I see the damage that my generation did. And I'm talking about the Jay-Z, Nas generation. You know, because these guys, all of those cats from the 90s who decided that the struggle, I got to get paid. They made a collective decision that it ain't about the struggle, I got to get paid. And what you are looking at right now is the brainchild of that decision. Because first of all, and one of the things that really annoyed me about that decision is, what struggle did you go through, nigga? What struggle are you talking about? My mother and her people went through struggles. You talk about being in a system where people could just do whatever the fuck they wanted to you, and you couldn't even say anything back in you talking about in the South? At least in New York, somebody say something to you, white, black, green, spotted, or dotted, you can put a fist in their mouth. You know, people ain't going for that bullshit now. Just socially, certain things are not the same as they were. There's a lot of you have a way better time socially than you did for our grandparents and parents during the times of the South. So I blame my generation. We dropped the ball. And the only thing that I'm proud of is that I never dropped the ball. I've always been talking this shit from the time that I was younger until now. And I took these guys to task when they dropped the ball. But I can still blame my generation because they from my generation. I blame them. Just like I don't feel, you know, like you rarely hear me talking about the younger generation or getting down on them and talking about how they this and they that. You rarely hear, if ever, hear me saying that on my channel. Because as a principle for me, and this is just me personally, I don't feel that I have the right to talk about the generation that I'm not a part of. Because somebody that's from that generation, you know who I listen to? I listen to Dominique Reed. He's not in the chat room right now, but he was in the chat room the other day, and he's brother, man. I listen to him because he's from this generation, and he critiques it and he talks about it. You know, he clears up a lot of misconceptions that people have, because that's the only way you're going to learn anything. You got to talk to the people instead of talking at them. And this is what I feel, getting back to the principles of versus dick riding subject. These so-called leaders are not trying to talk to you. They're talking at you. These black talking heads are talking at you. They love hearing the sound of their own voice. Let's see what's going on here. Jay-Z. I'm not even going to talk about Jay-Z. I'm gonna leave that alone. If you don't notice, I don't like talking about individuals because they're really irrelevant. Like Jay-Z made his money and he's, you know, half a billionaire or whatever. Good for him. Good for Beyonce. Fine. I mean, it's really irrelevant in terms of what, you know, we have to do as a people. We can't look to these celebrities, these black talking heads, because that's just another form of dick riding. Celebrity worship is dick riding too. I should have put that in there. I don't care about these guys, you know, and I don't hate them and I don't love them. I'm indifferent to them, and that's what people need to start being, indifferent to bullshit. Just be indifferent to it. Don't give it energy. Because you give these people energy, you're basically. I said this about Tommy Sotomayor. When everybody was losing their goddamn mind about, oh, did you hear what he said? I'm like, this guy's a fucking clown. Do you not see what he's doing? He's trolling you, and by you passing his videos around and showing it to other people so they can go, oh, I can't believe he said. All you're doing is giving him subscribers and views. Ignore him. Nobody listened to me. Next thing I know, this dude is on all kinds of social formats, and he's on shows that I'm like, what the hell is he doing on this? Like shows with white hosts that got, you know, millions of views, and they got Tommy Sotomayor on it as if he's some voice. Well, congratulations, you blew the nigga up. the little back and forths that he had with, the various members of the black talking head community, all of that stuff just builds brand. This is all just WWE shit. Be indifferent to it. That's the reason why when y'all ask me about certain people, I don't even know who you're talking about. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being serious. I have not heard one word out of this guy Polite's mouth. Not one word. I have no clue. All I know is that his name is Polite. I think he makes money doing something. Is he in real estate or something? I don't know. Don't even get into it because I don't care. But I have no clue who that dude is. I used to, if you go to my early videos, I used to address the lecture circuit that Saw Netta and those guys at 125 were doing at the time. And if you notice, I distanced myself from that. I never dissed them. I never made no diss videos and said, "Oh fuck, Saw Netta." I never did any of that. I just distanced myself from them because I saw that that was just nothing. It was a waste of time. It was WWE. And I think that that's what we need to do as a people. We need to embrace principles, embrace land, infrastructure, and nationhood, and just have your philosophy be revolving around that and not around some individual. Because we can talk about individuals all day long. And I'm telling you, this is the stuff that you're going to see on other people's channel. They want to talk about celebrities. Who now? What's the latest? Somebody attacked somebody or Lee Daniels, and oh, I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. I don't care, man. I don't care. I don't care about Monique. I don't care about Lee Daniels. I don't care about Damon Dash. I don't care about any of these individuals. I don't fucking care. And I say that with all sincerity. I don't care. The only thing I care about, and the only thing that excites me, is seeing how the BAIO is developing. Seeing brothers and sisters going into their state chapters and seeing them communicate with each other. Like I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing on the BAIO, people in PA is talking to each other. People in Florida is talking to each other. People in Atlanta is getting together and trying to say, whoa, well, where are we going to meet up at? Da, 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 da. This is the stuff that excites me. I don't care about no fucking celebrities. Never did. Not because, I never made the mistake of thinking that just because somebody's a celebrity, that makes them some special individual. It just means that they're good at whatever that particular craft is that they specialize in. I mean, what's this guy? Gary Kasparov is probably one of the greatest chess players that ever lived. Like he's in that discussion. And this guy's um, a total shill for Israel. Total shill. This guy's a chess master expert, but if you listen to him talk on foreign policy, you would think he has his head up his ass. So just because you do one thing great doesn't mean that that translate over to other shit. That's all I'm saying. That's the reason why I never really was interested in meeting the people that I respected and liked that were celebrities or artists, because I didn't want to assume that just because they were a great artist that they were a great person. Did you ever address the Tulsa real estate fund? Nope, never did. But I don't have anything to just answer. The short answer to that is I don't really have anything against the Tulsa real estate fund, just as long as people realize that it is a fund, it's an investment vehicle. So don't go into it thinking that you got some guaranteed returns. Go into it with your eyes open, and you can invest in that. And I have no problem with the investment vehicle itself, and saying whether you should do it or not do it. I don't have a dog in that fight. But it is an investment vehicle, and as long as you know that, it dresses. He uses as promotion and marketing um, the coming together, black folks coming together, black folks doing this collect. You know what I'm saying? That's the promotion and the marketing. But fundamentally, what it is an investment fund. So don't get distracted by all the other, oh, we doing it, we coming together, we gonna buy this, we shit. It's an investment fund. So there's a chance you can make some good returns on that, and there's some chances that you might not make shit, and there's other chances you might get wiped out. That's the way investment funds work. That's the way money works. And I mentioned this on the show before that Aliko Dangote at one point had like $20 billion, and then the oil crisis happened, and then he lost about 5 or 6 billion, or he might have lost even more than that. He was still a billionaire, but that's the way this shit goes. So just know that. Jay at least came up with a systemic solution for a systemic problem, so I'm proud of that. I don't know if he came up with any. I mean, it's an investment fund. The concept is not really that unique. The only thing that's unique is like I said, the marketing and presentation is attached to the investment fund. Like Bell, this is what I'm saying. Look at something for fundamentally what it is and not what people is telling you that it is. You know what I'm saying? That's my only suggestion to people. If you come to me with a vehicle, then what I want to know is, what is the vehicle? Now, you can dress the vehicle up in anything you want. That's just a part of the marketing. But what is it fundamentally? Yeah, Tone Talks and Yvette are upset about the investment fund, which makes no sense to me. Aren't they to do it right here, people? Tone Talks and Yvette should be having Jay Morrison on their show, bigging it up the investment fund. What is their problem? It's like these guys keep talking out of both sides of their mouth. One minute you're talking about how we can do it here, and then when you got somebody who actually came up with an idea for doing it here, you dogging it? Buying back the block to protect it from gentrification. Like I said, don't put all your eggs in that basket. That's the marketing presentation. I don't know if that's going to happen. Like, all of that there's no guarantee with any of that. This is what they say they intend to do, and we don't know. And that doesn't mean that there's anything nefarious. I want to be very clear on that. I'm not saying that this guy's a fraud and he's trying to get your money. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that that vehicle is an investment fund. That's it. That's all I'm saying. So know how investment funds work, and that's basically what you're going to get out of that fund. Just know how it works. That's all I'm saying. Exactly, Vector. Exactly. Like I don't want to. That's why I haven't really touched on this, because I don't want people to get the impression that I'm against the brother. I wish that the fund works, and I wish him the best of luck and success. Because that can only help, especially if they have a nationalist mindset. But has anybody spoken to Jay Morrison about nationhood? Like, do you know what his stance is on land infrastructure nationhood? And I'm asking that seriously because I don't know. So I don't know why people are going to assume that whatever the profits and dividends are going to go toward what exactly. Like, they say that you're talking about purchasing property and stuff like that. Okay, that would be great. If this fund works the way that the marketing says it is, then I would be in full support of it. But I have to see some results of it. Because keep in mind, this is a new fund. They don't really have a history. Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, Anti-Gravity 74. But if he wants to buy land in America, I have no problem with that, to be honest with you. All I know is Jay Morrison has a bad wife. Well, damn, now I'm going to do a search on Jay Morrison's wife. I like seeing bad women. But yeah, I never really took a stance on it because I haven't really gotten into it. To be honest with you, I haven't gotten into it. But just realize marketing and promotion is different from the actual investment fund. Because people can tell you, I want to do this, or we gonna do this, and we gonna do that. But what really matters is, what are the returns? How is the investment fund performing on the market? Kudash P Media says he is for it and will eventually work towards Africa. Oh, he did say that? Wait, well, first, how did he say that, and who approached him with that question? I'm interested to know that, because the person that approached him with that question, I want to talk about them. Who was that? Because I would figure that would be somebody from the BAIO who approached him on it. It's just a part of the larger solution, not the solution. Well, I don't know what you're referring to. I missed that. Oh, okay. He responded to Vector. I could care less about it because my preference is Africa, but for those who want to stay here, this should be perfect. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Vector. Why does Yvette Carnell and this Tone Talks guy have a problem with Jay Morrison? I mean, I haven't, keep in mind, like I told y'all, I don't listen to these videos. I don't watch these beefs because I don't care about them. So what's the issue? What's the problem? He's doing it right here. They say they don't want us to go to Africa, or Africa is nowhere for us to go. We can do it right here. Well, he's doing it right here. So what's the problem? Am I missing something? Hit the like button, y'all. 24 people watching, 19 likes. Don't be stingy with the like button. Ah. He is in his development. Plus, we need to stop labeling everything Black Power. We need to sell to everyone and stop being so blatant with our goals. Exactly. John Henry Clark suggested something that I feel we should do as a people. It's something that we can do right here, since people want to do something right here. What are the ingredients of a potato chip? Actually, I have a bag right here. Let's see. Potatoes, cottonseed oil, and salt. Those are the ingredients. 3 ingredients for a potato chip. Now, maybe you don't want to use cottonseed oil. You want to use another type of oil. Maybe you want to use some safflower oil or whatever. So you pick the oil that you feel is the best. You pick the potatoes you feel is the best. And let's say we use a nice sea salt or whatever. 3 ingredients. We can take that, make a potato chip, put it in a bag that's got the American flag on it. You can put whatever symbolism of American regalia or whatever on the bag and sell that shit to the general public. Don't call it a black company. You know what I'm saying? Don't say this is for the cause. No, just make it completely American propaganda and sell it on the open market. And don't tell nobody that it belongs to us. John Henry Clark suggested that. Brilliant man. Rest in peace. Can you imagine that shit? 999 billion. Can you imagine that? Like if the BAIO set up like products like that, where we had a potato chip called the red, white, and blue potato chip or whatever, something with American propaganda on it, and sold it, and nobody knew that every time you brought this potato chip, you was basically empowering our nation on the continent. I mean, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So I agree with you. Yeah, we need to stop making everything, putting a black face on everything, because that's how, first of all, do the Chinese do that? Do the Chinese not sell to you because you black? They'll take your black money just like everybody else's. Everybody sells to you. Even white people sell to you. Yeah, Tito, throw the American flag on it. Anti-gravity says, Holip, can you explain why it's always or instead of and? It's always politics or economics. Why isn't it never and? Well, it is for us. You're not going to really hear that outside of us, to be honest with you. I think it's because it's a schism that we have. Um, like, take for instance, there are certain people who say that they don't like nationalism. The perfect example I can think of that is this dude, Black Achievement, that was on College Show. He used to call in the College Show all the time, if anybody remembers him. Black Achievement. And Black Achievement was an interesting character because me and him used to get into it all the time because I used to tell him he's a nationalist. He just doesn't know it. Because everything that he says is what would be solved by being a national. Like he used to say, black people need to buy black. Black people need to have their own charter schools. Black people need to do this to control their. I said, dude, you're a nationalist. So then why do you fight against nationhood? He would use examples of the Chinese and how the Chinese do this and how the East Indians do that, how the Arabs and the Jews do this. I said, you're using all of these heavy nationalistic groups as examples of how we shouldn't use nationalism. I mean, are you hearing what you're saying? I used to get on him all the time. I don't know where he is now. But I know that I must have had some type of effect on him, the way he sees things, because a lot of people just don't understand what nationalism is. So you got a lot of people that's nationalists and they don't even know that they're anytime. All right, I'll give you an example of how you know you're a nationalist. You know you're a nationalist if you're thinking that black people need to have some type of control in their community. You're a nationalist. Because you can't think that black people need to have control of their community economically and socially and everything, and then be an integrationist. Because then you're fucking like you're out of your mind. You actually need to go and get some help. I'll give you another contradiction. This is one that I recently pointed out. You don't like nationalism. You don't like identity politics. That's the new phrase. So when it comes to the BAIO, when it comes to Holip, when it comes to this black shit, you're not interested in it. Then you turn around and make YouTube videos talking about how black men don't date black women. They date Chinese and Asians and all these other women. How come you don't date your own? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. As Dinus would say, stop the show. I thought you weren't a nationalist. I thought you didn't believe in nationalism. I thought you didn't like identity politics. Oh, but when it comes to who you want to get fucked by, now you want them to be nationalists for you. No, baby. No, boo. Sorry. You put yourself on the open market. That means that you're competing with Chinese women, Asian women, Japanese women, East Indian women, women from the fucking islands, the Hawaiian women, all these exotic women. You put yourself on the open market to compete with them. So if you're losing on the open market, don't try to turn your men into nationalists now. Either step your game up or do something. See, these are the contradictions that I talk about. People want nationalism, but they don't want nationalism. People want to be black, but they don't want to be black. People want a nation, but they don't want a nation. It's this schism that goes through our community and through our minds in our community, this so-called community, I should say. And that's what the problem is. Yeah, do something. Hit the gym. Get them six packs. Exotic women. Yeah. You put yourself on the open market for that. The only people that have a right to complain about that, about us dating our own, are nationalists because we believe in having a black family. We believe that black men should be with black women. Why? So we can produce black children and have a black family. It's in our interest. It's in our nation's interest. Interracial relationships don't work in our interest. But like I said, the interracial relationship shit is a bunch of fucking molehill into mountain bullshit anyway. Because the vast majority of black men and black women are together. Now, if we had a nation then the percentages would probably be even higher than they are now. The percentages are like 88% with black men as with black women. We had a nation, it'd probably be like 95 or 96%. And who gives a shit? If 4% of the 100% population wants to date interracially, how does that affect the 96% of us who's not doing it? I made the same argument with the fucking homosexual agenda bullshit. 96 to 97% of our black population are straight heterosexual men and women. Why are you acting like the fucking 3 and 4% of homosexuals, LGBTQ, XYZ is some fucking walking dead threat? You know, whatever. I don't even want to get into that bullshit. Can you speak on the endorsement of immigration, which will ultimately put the nail in the coffin for blacks here, but there is still speak on the endorsement of immigration will ultimately put the nail in the coffin for blacks. I got news for you. The nail has been in the coffin for blacks here in America. This is the reason why none of the stuff that's going on now is terrifying to me. Like the whole immigration thing is not terrifying to me. The Mexican situation is not terrifying to me. The homosexual thing is not terrifying to me. The nail is in the coffin. We're done in this country. We have nothing. We own nothing. We have no socioeconomic and political power in America. People can talk about what we could have, what we should have, but we don't have it. So I don't have this, like these boogeymen that everybody's concerned about don't really concern me because the nail has been in the coffin. Now, in terms of reparations, this is the point that I've always made about reparations. Do I have a fundamental problem with the concept of reparations? No, I don't. What I have a problem with is I think people have a misunderstanding of exactly what reparations are. Reparations is to repair a nation. So when you're talking about getting reparations, are you talking about getting reparations as individuals? Or are you talking about getting reparations to repair your nation? Now, the reason why I mention that is here's two scenarios. The vague abstraction commonly known as quote unquote black people here in America, black people that don't have no government, black people that don't have any elected officials, if they go to the UN and they request reparations, and keep in mind this is just a hypothetical situation. Let's say we do that, or we allow then. All right, no, I won't get into that. That's another. I'll put that as a second option. But the vague abstraction, we get some group and you sign some signatures and whatever, and we go to the UN and we ask for reparations. We keep in mind, I got that in quotes. Let's say the UN decides that they want to give you the reparations. How will those reparations be distributed? Well, what's going to happen is they're going to distribute it to anybody who can prove that they're a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade. That's what I'm imagining. What that means is that the individuals are going to get checks. Now I don't know how much those checks are going to be, but those individuals, everybody who calls themselves a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade and black, blah 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 blah, is going to get a check. That's one scenario. Scenario two is this: the BAIO takes the top representatives from all of the 50 states, because those chapters would have been built up. There would be activities going on throughout. Let's say we're talking about a few years process. They have a convention, a national convention. They talk to a host African country. Let's say they talk to Namibia, they talk to Angola. Namibia or Angola agrees to cede apart a certain portion of their land for a small enclave to come over and develop that land. They work with the enclave works with them. They engage in these mutually beneficial projects, and they're building up and building up, and they're building up this small enclave eventually builds into a town. That town develops into a city, right? So we're all on, like, not all, but we have this contingent of African Americans on the continent who have a city state. Now let's go to the UN for reparations. Where the reparations going to go if the city state is the one that's basically at the table asking for the reparations? Aren't the reparations going to go to build that city state and turn it into the nation state? Because why? You're repairing your nation. Am I making any sense with this? So reparations could either be for individuals, which is really not what the purpose of reparations is, or it could be to repair your nation. But you got to have a nation to repair it. And this is the thing that I don't think people are comprehending. Like, everybody, when you talk to the average black person about reparations, the first thing that goes through their mind is a check. That's not what reparations is about. Reparations is to build and repair your nation. And in our situation, our nation was completely destroyed. So reparations would be for laying down the infrastructure on a piece of land for our nation. That's what reparations would be. Now, if you're talking about reparations in that sense, boom, Holip is for it. But the way that reparations is being discussed in its current form, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit by people that don't even have any clue about how reparations work. They don't have any clue about how or what a nation is and why a nation state makes sense. Yeah, like Supreme Sebastian just said, all that money would be integrated into the American economy. And not only that, this is another aspect that nobody's talking about. This racism, discrimination, and this guilt that you want to hold over white people for slavery, that discussion is over once that check gets cut. Because if you try to bring up some racism shit, and oh, I'm experiencing racism, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go to their system, go and find out what your social security number is. Oh, this nigga got a check. Shut the fuck up. That whole racism and discrimination shit is off the fucking table once you get that check. So you ain't got that no more. You can't hold that over white people's head no more. You can't even talk about slavery no more. Because after you get that check, and like Supreme Sebastian says, all of that money is going to go back into the American economy. Now you've lost any type of leverage that you thought you had. You didn't have any to begin with, but now you definitely ain't got shit. And then I guess, as what's his name was saying, SP Media, then it's seriously a wrap. Then that's the final nail in the coffin. So my thing is, if we're going to talk about reparations, let's talk about it properly. If people are talking about reparations so that black folks in America who's descendants of the transatlantic slave trade want to build up a piece of land on the African continent because that's where we were stolen from, I'm all for it. Because that, you know what that's going to go toward? It's going to go toward the infrastructure. It's going to go toward roads and highways. It's going to go toward green and clean energy, wind, solar, geothermal, all of that shit. We're going to have the most advanced technological nation. We're going to be the fucking Wakanda of the world. That's the reparations I'm talking about. If you ain't talking about that, rebuilding the nation, or going toward the infrastructure for a new nation and developing land, and having a green country, the world's first completely green country. What reparations you talking about? Getting a $20,000 check? This is why we got too many people at the table that don't know what the fuck they talking about. They're trying to work in the interest of black people. They're not working in your interest. They're working in their own interest. So yeah, that's my take on the reparations thing. Yeah, The people talking about reparations are only looking for a handout. And that's a dangerous handout because, like I said, if white people actually give black folks in America right now, when we don't have a government, we don't have no representation or no elected leaders or any of that, and they give you reparations right now, you have totally taken the slavery and the history of this country against black people off the table. You can't even mention it no more without laughter being in the room. Because white people are going to say, didn't you get a check, nigga? And they should say it. And they should laugh at you because you played yourself. But anyway, I'm going to stick around till 4:30 and then I'm going to close out. So I got about 8 minutes. White people thought the slavery talk was over when Obama got elected. Thank you. So can you imagine what reparations would be? Like after reparations, that's it. Yeah. No, nobody's talking about you, Kudash P Media. No, I'm not. That's not directed at you personally. I'm just talking about the people that bring up the reparations. They're not seeing the big picture. It's called reparations because you're repairing your nation. That's why they call it reparations. You're repairing the nation. It's usually what happens after the nation is destroyed. And so, you know, the country that usually are the countries that were involved in destroying the nation on an international level get together to help that nation and repair it. You know, Israel was reparations for the Jews. So if Afrikstan is reparations for African Americans, I'm all for it. All for it. But I really feel that we think that we're so reliant like on white people to do what we have to do. What's going on right now with the BAIO? There's no white people involved. Is white people stopping you from meeting with other nationalists? No, they can't stop you from signing up to a free site and meeting and congregating with people that's in your area. Because eventually, what I see happening with the BAIO, like I said, each chapter is going to take on a life of its own because that's how forums work. There's going to be local chapter meetups, and then there's going to be a national meetup where you have chapters from all over the country will pick a location and meet. Hopefully, that location will be on the continent. But you know, not everybody can go to the continent, so maybe like the first national meetup will be in America. But then, you know, but I think we should try to push for having the first meetup on the continent personally, and actually on the land that we have targeted as the place that we want to build our nation. I think that makes the most sense. But that's what's going to happen. And people are saying, well, what's going to happen? Like what land or what you going to do? We don't know because we don't know how many. All right. In the BAIO, how many of us are engineers? How many of us are architects? How many of us are, you know, scientists? How many blue collar workers? How many white collar workers? We don't know because I can't do all this shit myself. Anybody in this chat room can't do it all yourself. We need each other. We need people with skills, and we need to put those people with skills together so we can develop some type of a council. You know what I'm saying? There's a process to this, and what we're doing is we're engaging in the process right now. What is this? You guys are going to trigger Holip. What are they talking about? White people only respond when our actions seem effective against the SWS system of white supremacy. Imagine if the Germans paid the Jews in Dutch mark on a promise that they must remain in Germany. Suspected white supremacists. Suspected white supremacists? Reparations is never ever going to happen. If they still seek money from African countries today, African countries are paying Europeans for slavery till today. Yep. Supreme Shabazz, you said you guys are going to trigger Holla. What were you referring to? I must have missed it. But anyway, yeah, like Bell just posted, join your state chapter, man. Everybody in this chat room should be in the BAIO. No fucking excuse why you're not. Come on. There should be no one in this chat room that's not a part of the BAIO. Inexcusable. Inexcusable. All you gotta do is click on that link that she just put in there and sign up like right now if you aren't. I'm not gonna shame you. I'm not gonna shame you. I won't blast you on the chat room and say, oh, so and so is just signing up. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be cool. But you really need to sign. If you're not a part of the BAIO, I don't know why you even in the chat room talking, to be honest with you. I really don't. That takes nothing. That takes minimal effort. That's a click on your mouse and a few keystrokes on your keyboard. So sign up to the BAIO Ning site, y'all. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I've said everything I had to say. Principles versus dick riding. I believe that everybody in this chat room and everybody in the BAIO is for principles, tangible and concrete things. So if you're not with that, then you're with the dick riding crew, which is celebrity worship, personality, cult of personality, charismatic individuals and leadership and all that other bullshit. If you're into that, then YouTube is the place for you. You're going to find plenty of forums where you can engage in that. But if you want to engage in something tangible and concrete, click on that link, join the BAIO website. There's 2 questions that we're going to ask you, a couple of questions that you'll sign up to, just to find out where your head is at and whether you should even be in the forum. But everybody who's clicking on that link is going to be in the forum, so I don't even worry about that. Join your state chapter, your local state chapter. I created chapters for every state in the United States of America and for some countries outside of the United States of America. Somebody joined a group from damn Bahamas, the Nassau, the one place that I don't even have a freaking logo for. So now I got to figure out how to create a Bahamas logo now. But that's good. That's good. I like that. But anyway, I'm going to sign out and thank you once again, Belle, for your help. I know Regina was in here at one point. Thank her. And thank you all of y'all for joining me for this little chat for today, this little semi-impromptu chat. And I will holler at you good people later, all right? And join the BAIO. If you're in this chat room, you should be in the BAIO. All right? Peace.